Good up. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm supposed to start this, but wait for some time to join everyone. This is afternoon session. Definitely, this is a sleepy session, but the class is of only 20 to 30 minutes maximum. Please join with us. I have seen 4 of you, Sayantan, Shagnik, and Renisha. Okay, as joining. And can you hear me properly? And can you see everything or not? Just any one of you. Just I want to know. Voice is fine, and the picture is also. Live streaming is also fine. Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Let's wait for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. Sir, only left corner of the board is visible. Okay, okay. I will make it visible. And now I want to show me as a visible person to you. Okay. That's why. Okay. Samiran Datto. Shika Chakraborty. As there is a data problem, so I want to start now. Okay, let's start. So today's topic of discussion is function. How the function is applied in C, and what is the characteristic properties of the function. Actually, I'm giving you one example in a real life scenario, and every time in real life scenario these functions are applied. Just I'm giving you one example. Suppose that just listen to me carefully. Just two. Suppose Dibusri ma'am is the journal editor, one of the journal editor. That means he is editor in chief. Is the head of that journal. And suppose for one journal publication, there are some certain steps will be there. That means you have to take papers from the scientist or some authors. So you have to make an advertisement. The first step. And secondly, you have to collect all those papers. This is the second steps. That means sequence of instructions will be followed by the editor-in-chief, the Busriman. So the first do the advertisement. Secondly, collect the, and after collecting those papers, you have to review those papers. And Dibusri knows very well that Soman sir is doing this reviewing part very well. That then you can take that Soman is a good function for reviewing papers. You can Dibusri can take it like this. There may be more other functions are there. That means what that means that the Soman has to take care of the reviewing process. And that means all the papers collected from the authors by Dibrusi, that will be passing to Soman sir. That means those papers are basically the parameters for the function Soman, right? Now you see the function Soman, and those parameters, that means suppose 10 papers are collected. Now every paper cannot be checked by me, because in my under some scientists are working. Suppose those scientists are, or professors are EBM, Professor Kishanu Diashi, Professor Shantanu, that may, and suppose, and Professor on Kumar Paja, then I distributed all those 10 papers to BBM sir, Kishanu sir, Shantanu sir, and on sir. That means, you see, I'm just giving you one thing. Suppose Dibbusri is the main function. Dibbusri is the main function. Under this, in the first step, now see carefully. In the first step, advertisement, and the second step, there is collection of journal papers, and third step is calling function Soman. They do the review process, and under Soman, there are definitely Soman will take help from Professor BBM, Professor Krishanu Diashi, and Professor AKP, An Kumar Paja. An Kumar Paja and some more there, and he is reviewing papers 3, he is reviewing 3 papers, and he is reviewing 4 papers. Suppose that means every time, what is your process you see? So that means these are the sequence of instructions. You have to first do this step, secondly do this step, and thirdly do this step. Now you see this. This is a function, and Dibbusri is a main function. Under this is a sub function, and under this Soman, BBM is another sub function. KD is also a sub function. These 3 functions are independent functions. They are not dependent each other, but at the same time, all the functions cannot run in a processor at the same time. So suppose there is only one processor, that means it is not the quad core. So once in a processor, only one process will be running. So after BBM, KD, though they are independent, they cannot run at the same time as there is one processor. If there are 4 processors, it can be run. But you see, how do you do this? So under Dibbusri, there are a sequence of instructions, and suppose those sequence of instructions address are 100, 101, 102. That means when this instruction is running, there is a concept of program counter. When this process is running, always the program counter will increment the next instruction to be executed. That means now the program counter address is stored here 101. That means this instruction is running, but now the address of program counter is 101. That means the next instruction address is here, where the next instruction will be executed after this instruction. Then when this instruction will be running, then definitely this will be incremented to 102. And when this instruction is running 102, then definitely it will be incremented to 103. Now, what is happening here? When it is jumped to a function, this function is another function. That means Soman cannot work. He cannot do the work in place of in Dibbusri's room. He can do the work in his own place. That means in Soman's function, the address may be, starting address may be 300, and here it is 301, here it is 302. Here, that means you see this, when this is the starting address of 300, only one program counter is there. That means there must be a stack. All of you are knowing about the stack. I will go to the details of the stack in next. But stack, all of you are knowing about this. Stack is last in, first out. If stack of books are there, you can always pick up the top book. That is, that top book is actually inserted at the last scenario, and that can be picked up first. That is last in, first out. So in this stack, this 103 will be 103 will be stored here, and this the very under Showman function who is working in somewhere, that is at the address 300, that will be stored in program counter 300. Now if this program is running, that means Professor BBM is working the review process on 3 papers, then automatically it will be incremented to the next instruction, that is 301. That is Professor Kishanudias's reviewing process will be executed next. This is the process. That means under this main function, this is a sub function. That is every time. That is, if you see that Professor BBM will, after doing the review process, he will return some value. What are those values? Those values is some journals will be accepted. Suppose 1 is accepted and 2 journals are rejected. Now those are the parameters will be passed to Showman. That means this is the passing function, and the KD will be passing some values, and AKP will be passing some values. After collecting all those values, Showman will return some accepted papers and some rejected papers, and those values will be returned to Dibbosri. That means, you see, after returning Dibbosri, that's why you have to write a return statement for this function, right? You have to return those values to Dibbosri because you are working under Dibbosri, ma'am. That's why you see, after returning the value, what is the top value of the stack? 103. Automatically, that 103 will be stored in this program counter here. You see this. That means after 102, there is something that is 103, where Professor Omorto is doing this publication things. That means book publication work that has been given by Professor Dibbosri. That means under Professor Dibbosri, ma'am, Showman and Omorto are doing this work. And you see this, only after completing this work, then can only the Omorto can publish the book. That means this function is purely dependent on this function. That's why this 103 will be coming here, right? So basically, in real life scenario, every program, if you want to do a tech fest or a fest, everything can be there. There is a head of that festival. Under that head, some sub functions will be there. Hey, do this job. You take the water from somewhere. You have to make this stage very carefully. You have to take the chairs in the ground. So the sub functions will be there. That is, this very real-time thing scenario will be implemented in C programming languages. That means basically, you see this, when the Showman function, this is defined functions will be here. That means this is Dibbosri's main function, and it is user defined function. So Dibbosri को जितना सारा पेपर्स आए उसको Showman को भेजना है, नहीं तो Showman कैसे चेक करेगा? He cannot check all the papers if Dibbosri cannot supply those papers. That means those are the parameters. And what are the parameters supplied by Dibbosri, ma'am? Those are the actual parameters, and Showman is collecting the parameters values from here to here. These are the called formal parameters. Now, possibly these things are clear to everybody. These things are clear to everybody. Now, I am going to some real programming problem. You see this. Yeah. That means, what is function? Function is a set of statements that take inputs, do some specific computation, and produces output. So the idea is to put some repeatedly done task together and make a function so that instead of writing the same code again and again for different inputs, we can call the function. Actually, if I am just recall the previous example of doing the book publishing journal, and if I am very much efficient for doing the reviewing process, then not only Dibosri, suppose someone else wants to also publish another book, then they can also call me as a reviewing person. That is, similar task can be uh, done by the same function. So you repeatedly do the same task. I mean, you do not have to write the same code again and again within a main function. So you can do the function call, and with the help of parameters, you can get the result from that function. Right? Now I am giving you one example. You see this, but how do you declare the function? Function is, I am not writing the whole thing. Int, suppose max, int x, int y, right? Within this is user defined function. This is max is here. Now this is if, now here it is if x greater than y, then return x, else return y, right? So this is the user defined function. Now this is user defined function. That means x, y, no values of x, y are here in this user defined. That means this is the function type. What is that value returned by this function? That is integer type. And what are the parameters value are? These are the also integers. And what should be the main function here? So that from the main function it is calling main function is, this is int main. Within this, int a equal to 10, b equal to 20. Suppose this is there, right? And write down int m is equal to max of a comma b, x of a comma b, and print. I'm not writing the exact code. Printf, suppose m, right? Printf m, and return 0. Definitely this, that return 0 is there. I'm not writing here. That is known to you, right? So you see this. That means a value is 10 and b value is 20. A value 10 and b value is 20 here. Yeah, and int m is equal to max of ab. That means this is the calling function. This is the calling function. So this is the calling function. This is the called function. You see this. So ab means this value of a is 10 and b 20. This 10 and 20 will be passed through here, and the value of now xy is 10 and 20. Now do the comparison here. 10 greater than 20, no. So the return value will be y. Y will be here. So max of this max value will return the value y, that means 20, and it will be stored in m. Now you can do the printf statement and you can get the maximum value. This is the code of a calling function. This is a code of a function, right? Now that means these are called the actual parameters, and these two are called the formal parameters, right? This is the simple example like this. And function, that means within main function, this is another function, and again you can define within this function another function. That means function within function within function, that I have shown in the real example, right? That means function helps us in reducing the code redundancy, right? So if functionality in is performed at multiple places in the software, so rather than writing the same code again and again, we create a function and call it wherever it is needed, right? This is the main advantage of a function, and the modularity definitely will be increased. That means if you divide all the problems in a modular approach, but with the help of function, then it will be very easy. And also for if you want to change something, suppose one function will be used in several places. If you want to change something anywhere in the function, that means you have to change only one place within that function, and it will be reflected to everywhere, right? So this is the advantages of using function, right? So these are the cases. And now there are function that I have told about these parameters. This is called actual parameter, and these are called formal parameters. And there are two types of parameter passing. That means there are definitely these are parameter passing will be there. Two types of there are more than two types of there. Mainly two types. That is pass by value and pass by reference. Pass by value means the parameter in pass by value method, values of actual parameters are copied to the function's formal parameter. That means this will be copied to here, right? In the defined memory location. So any changes made inside the function, are not reflected to the value of the actual parameters. That means if all the values 10 and 20 will be here, it will be passed to here and do something here. But those, that means those changing values will not change the values of A and B, right? These are the cases. Then I will give you another example. And second thing is pass by reference, where both actual and formal parameters refer to same locations. But to say that means this value and this value are actually referring to the same locations. And so any changes made inside the function are actually reflected to the actual parameter, right? As those two are references the same position, so any changes done here will be reflected to here. But in C programming languages, here actually pass by reference is not there, but you can do this with the help of pointer. You can get a flavor of this with the help of pointer. How do you do this? That's I'm giving you one example of the previous case. You see this. After completing this, I will take care of your questions. Okay, if there is any doubt. Okay. You see, int the function is suppose int x, and within this x is equal to 30, right? And suppose definitely return statement will be there. Now int main, here within this int x is equal to 20, function x, and printf, I'm not writing the whole code, printf x here, and return 0. Then what will be the output here? Can anyone tell me what will be the output? You see this is int x equal to 20, the value of x is 20. So when you are calling a function x, then x will be, this is the value of the 20 is the value of the actual parameter. This will be passed to this parameter, formal parameter x. So now the value of x is 20, but here within this function x is equal to 30. But when you are printing x again here, that x value 30 will not be reflected here. So what is the printing value here? The printed value will be definitely, output will be 20, this very value, this output 20, right? Thus output will be, so this value will not change because this x is something else and this x is somewhere. So these two variables do not look at the same location. This is the example of this one. Now I'm giving you a pointer example. See this, how the flavor of parameter pass by reference, as pass by reference is not there, but you can get a flavor with the help of pointer. How do you do this? You see the function is, suppose the function is star ptr, then this star ptr is equal to 30. Now int main, within this, int x is equal to 20 and fun ampersand x. You see this again, printf x, printf x. You see this, and definitely return statement will be there. I'm not writing here. You see this here, x is equal to 20 and you are passing ampersand x, means the address of this x variable where the 20 is stored. That means this is basically, suppose this is the suppose okay, just this is where live stream here. Okay, this is the box here. So here it is 20 and suppose the address is 1000. So ampersand x means this value is 1000. That means the x variable x address is 1000. This 1000 value will be passed to here. And star pointer means value at address. What is the value at address? That is basically this pointer is storing the value. This PTR is storing the value 1000 here. This is basically value at address. Star means this will actually reflect the value at here. That means this very address value will be stored here. That is, this address is passed through this formal parameter. That is basically, this is pointing to that very location. That means actually your feelings will be, so reference will be passed. No, reference will not be passed here. That you are thinking that your reference will be passed. But for this program, this is taken for this function, this is taken as a value. But you know this is basically the address of this variable x. And you are getting the flavor of parameter passing by pass by reference, but it is not at all the pass by reference, right? So you are getting the flavor. So now you see this, if star pointer is equal to 30, and if you want to see the value of x here, now the printed value will be definitely 30. That means basically you can get the flavor of parameter passing by pass by reference. So these are the pointer variables, right? And you see every C program has a function called main function. Definitely main is also a function that is called by the operating system when a user runs the program. That can be called by only the operating system, right? When the user runs the program, right? Now see, remember one thing, in C functions can return any type except arrays and functions. Just remember this, except arrays and functions. But we can get around this limitation by returning pointer to array or pointer to function, right? You can declare this. It can be passed through the, I'm giving you one example. This one, you see this. That means if you declare an array, suppose in void main, int main, there is a function. Suppose this is int array, AR. Int array 3 is equal to 1, 2, and 3. Suppose this is this. And you want to call a function, something that is function array. This is, what is this one? This array means, actually, you see, can you remember, all of you are knowing about this array 3 means this is array, but what is this one? Array means basically it is a pointer variable, and that it will give you the base at the starting address of the array. That means if this is there, this is the array 1, 2, 3 are stored here. This is array. So if the address is 1000, so this array means the starting address, this one will be stored here. So now your user defined function is int fun, suppose, and this int uh, BR. Suppose int star BR. What is this? Star BR means basically this array means this 1000 address will be passed to here, and now value at address will be taken care of here. Now within this function you can change. So it should be declared definitely, but I am writing this star BR is equal to star BR plus 1, and also you can write star BR plus 1 is equal to star BR plus 2. Then what is the value of here? You see this function array means 1000 address will be passed here, and value at address means star 1000 means what is the value of BR is 1. That means star BR initially it was 1 plus 1. So the value will be changed to here it is be 2. Now what is BR plus 1? BR means basically the address is 1000 because array will be passed to BR. 1000 plus 1 means what is the data type? Suppose this is integer data type and this address is 1002. So it will be, and every integer space is 2 byte of, suppose this in this for this compiler. So BR plus 1 means this is 1002. At that very 1002 location, what is the value of this here? Here it is star BR means initially it was 2 and plus 2 that is 4. So it will be changed to 4 here. Now you can get the flavor of this thing, and that means only the base address will be supplied to here. Is that clear? Okay. And these are the only clear cases for function. Empty parameter list in C mean that the parameter list is not specified and the function can be called with any parameters. Number of, if no parameters will be declared in a function, that means any number of parameters can be passed through this. But it is suggested to avoid this. Always try to declare, and always try to declare the user defined function first and then the main function. Otherwise, if you can definitely that is, this is the declaration part. Int function int something. This is the declaration part, and you this part is the definition part. So if you want to define this function after main, you have to declare the function before main. Declare the function, write the main function, and define the function. Otherwise, declaration and definition at the beginning you can do this. After that, main function can be done. So in these two ways you can write this. Okay. Thank you for watching this. Now, if there is any doubt, you can ask me. Oh, sir, please explain why the output is not 30. Where output is not 30 means? Any one of you who is asking the question why the output is not 30 means possibly in actual parameter it is passed by value. When passed by value is that means actual parameter value will be passed to the formal parameter. That means it is copied from this actual parameter to that very location for the xy parameter. The copied means that means actual parameter value will not be changed anymore, right? But because if the actual parameters are a, b and formal parameters are x, y, then the value of a, b, suppose this is 10 and this is 20, this values will be copied to x, y, and do anything you can, but the value of a, b will not be changed because this is the addresses of a, b are somewhere else and the addresses of x, y are somewhere else. That is passed by value. So if you change x, y, x something 30 here, and here the value of a is somewhere a is equal to 20, it cannot be reflected to here. That's why output is not 30. But in this pointer variable, you can get this one, because if you pass through this one, you can directly refer to this very location with the help of this value. So if you change here, actually this location is accessed by this formal parameter. So that a single position, if it can be accessed, then it can be changed also, and it will be reflected. So that means you are getting the flavor of value passing by reference, right? No, you cannot use call by reference in C programming language, but you can get a flavor of this call by reference with the help of pointer, actually, right? And actually you are passing the pointer address value, so address value through the actual parameter to the formal parameter. But called function are not knowing about whether the received value is an address or a value or simply a value. That called function is not knowing about this. That's why. Okay. We cannot use by call by reference instead of star. No. You cannot use, because this called function can take only the value. Only the value. Okay, I think for data problem, I have to stop here. Thank you very much. Possibly there is no more questions. Thank you for watching this. Okay, bye.